The Ryan Reynolds Hollywood PR machine is in full effect.
It's really weird to watch this kind of behavior.
It's all just so weird, which he goes into about his dad seemingly was a bully, his dad's dad was a bully.
And as we know, Ryan didn't stop bullying people 22 years ago, as we've seen with Nice Pool. If that's not bullying, Justin Baldoni, I don't know what is.
Ryan Reynolds is an absolute meltdown after his dirty bullying got exposed in the most humiliating way possible during his own podcast.
The reason I love you is that you don't punch down. Like, it's not your vibe, and it's a good.
Oh no, I would very much like to be
the
the
best
joke.
targets.
Yeah.
Yes, me too. Like I really, and then so that's where I got the lesson to never apologize.
He proudly admitted to harassing a 22-year-old girl like it was some heroic achievement. And the worst part is he is not even embarrassed about it.
Ryan Reynolds will punch down when he thinks it's okay.
And guys, for years we blamed Blake for everything, but now it's painfully clear that the real catalyst in this entire mess might have been Ryan all along.
Okay, so last night, US time, Ryan Reynolds was appearing on the Conan O'Brien show called Team Coco.
So it all revealed when Ryan Reynolds appeared on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend on May 4th, 2025. And, as expected, the conversation was filled with empty laughs and quick-witted exchanges.
So in this 1 hour long interview, show, whatever, Ryan was trying to be funny the whole time, which is his thing.
It was all set for the usual banter about Reynolds' iconic role as Deadpool. But then, Ryan drops a bombshell that shocked a girl.
You don't punch down. Like, it's not your vibe, and it's a good.
Oh no, I would very much like to be
the
the
best
joke.
targets. Yes, me too. Like I've done it. I did it once in my life, and I deeply regretted it. And
Out of nowhere, he casually admits to something that pretty much made everyone pause. He confessed that 22 years ago, he bullied a girl and harassed her out of fun.
Ryan Reynolds admitted that he kind of did that, but only once. And he said it was 22 years ago.
And do you want to know how Ryan decided to apologize for this mess? Did he pen a heartfelt letter, or he go out of his way to show some genuine remorse? Of course not. Instead, he sent champagne. Yes, he sent alcohol to someone who doesn't even drink. Was this an apology, or just a different kind of humiliation dressed up in bubbles and a fancy label?
you just the comedian or the guy with the microphone starts picking on someone, and you're just like, they don't have a microphone as well. It's not fair, you know. And it's and it just that was left a mark that I'll never ever.
Yeah, you can't
forget.
He didn't just drop this bombshell casually. He set it up with his characteristic humor, framing the confession almost like a comedic anecdote. A clever move, really, because who doesn't love a good laugh, right?
He said he regretted bullying someone, and then he made a joke about it.
But as he recounted the story, something about the delivery didn't sit well. Reynolds claimed it was a one-off, a mistake from his younger days that he deeply regretted. Yet, the way he spun the tale made it feel less like a genuine apology and more like a calculated PR maneuver.
He also said in this interview that he's desperate for validation, maybe because his dad never gave that to him.
But do you think he was ashamed? Not really. The tone wasn't one of remorse, but rather one of deflection. He quickly pivoted the conversation back to lighter topics, laughing along with Conan and the show's crew. The audience was left wondering, was this a sincere confession or just another chapter in Ryan's carefully controlled narrative?
But this whole conversation to me just says that Ryan Reynolds is a very insecure person and he can't be himself. He never can be himself. He just has to be a comedian all the time.
But let's not forget, the real reason behind all this chaos might just be because Ryan Reynolds is too busy perfecting his stand-up act to actually sit down and reflect on what he wants or, who he wants to be.
Yeah, I don't see the point in this interview, and if you see the comment section, it's still open. There's a lot of comments there asking Conan O'Brien why.
Public reactions to his little confession were a mess. You had one group of fans rushing to defend him with the classic, "We all make mistakes when we're young," as if being a 22-year-old bully is some sort of universal milestone. Sure, let's normalize that, right? And of course, there's the way he framed it. Ryan didn't just drop a simple, "Hey, I messed up and I'm genuinely sorry." No, that would have been too straightforward.
And then they're using people I like, Conan O'Brien, to like put out their message and make it seem like there's nothing wrong. We're still big names.
Instead, he wrapped the whole thing up in his signature humor and self-deprecation. Classic Reynolds. It's the old charm them until they forget the point strategy. Make them laugh, make them feel like they're in on the joke, and suddenly they're on your side before they've even had time to think it through. It's like a magician distracting you with one hand while the other pulls the rug out from under you.
I'm not trying to pile on to Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively hate. I don't hate them. I'm angry with them. I'm frustrated with them because they refuse to take accountability and they are using their Hollywood power to just stomp on people.
But this time, the trick didn't land. People weren't laughing quite as hard. Instead, they were side-eyeing the whole thing, asking the real questions. Like, why Conan's podcast? A place known for lighthearted banter and laughs, not exactly the setting for deep confessions.
And they are, sadly, they are going to be big names, but they got away with something, or so far they've gotten away with something that I'm just not okay with, and I'm going to continue to call it out. And this appearance, he said a lot of stuff that I'm just frustrated. Like, why are you out there doing this stuff? You really need the attention this badly?
The timing seemed suspiciously convenient. Was he hoping to bury this under a mountain of giggles, or is he too desperate to get attention? Or was it a calculated move to make the revelation more palatable, sandwiched between jokes and lighthearted chatter?
And so, look, I'm not even trying to be a critic here to say, no, be nice to everybody, Ryan. That's not what it's about. But you're a hypocrite.
But it doesn't end there. This isn't just a one-time confession or a single incident buried in the past. Ryan Reynolds' admission opened the floodgates for broader conversations about his behavior and how he's navigated his Hollywood career. While this moment on the podcast focused on one incident, it's hard not to wonder what else might be lurking behind that charming smile.
So Ryan Reynolds basically admitted that he'd been calling Baldoni a predator.
But it doesn't stop there. Ryan Reynolds' nice guy act may have fooled a lot of people, but when it came to Justin Baldoni, it looks like the Hollywood darling thought he had a free pass to play bully. So, what exactly happened between these two?
Now here Friedman is quoted in TMZ. Let's look at what he said. Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement, extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
After his feud with Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds actively tried to ruin Justin Baldoni's career. And if you think that's a stretch, just take a look at how Reynolds went about it. In classic Reynolds fashion, he didn't just go for the direct hit. No, that would be too easy. Instead, he introduced a nice little jab through a character in his project, Nice Pool. Of course, this wasn't just any character. In true Reynolds style, it had all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
As we reported, Ryan filed the dismissal docs Tuesday, calling Justin thin-skinned for complaining that so-called Nice Pool character from Deadpool and Wolverine was mocking him.
Is it a coincidence that the character resembled Baldoni in more ways than one?
And then they say, well, even doing that, he's just thin-skinned for complaining about it.
Probably not. Reynolds, never one to miss an opportunity to flex his power, seems to have decided that Baldoni's too nice persona was something to be knocked down a peg. Reynolds decided to capitalize on that, throwing Baldoni under the bus in his own smooth-talking way.
Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
But Baldoni didn't take it lightly.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
The next incident in Ryan's bullying CV is Hollywood hypocrisy, the TJ Miller saga, and this one gets messy. Now, if you remember Deadpool, you know it was a game changer. It was edgy, funny, and well, Ryan Reynolds was at the center of it all.
And I think some people...
Do you know he hates
We
you?
had a really weird moment on Deadpool.
But behind the scenes, things weren't exactly as smooth as the movie's success. Enter TJ Miller. Do you remember him? He was one of the major comedic forces in Deadpool, but but eventually accused Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool production team of creating an uncomfortable working environment. Yeah, you heard that right. The vibes weren't exactly buddy comedy between the two.
So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie. So he's ripped.
TJ Miller wasn't shy about airing his grievances. He publicly shared how the Deadpool set was toxic, with tensions between the cast and crew. And it wasn't just about the usual creative differences.
On Deadpool, where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me.
He spoke about Ryan, claiming that his behavior made him feel uneasy. If you've been paying attention, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't Ryan supposed to be the charming, nice guy? Yeah, well, that nice guy image might need a little polishing after this.
Right. So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
But do you think Ryan took it lying down? No. He wasn't going to let a little thing like allegations of bad vibes on set go unanswered.
When that went viral, Ryan Reynolds immediately picked up the phone and somehow got TJ Miller to recant. Oh no, we're now good friends.
In what could only be described as a Hollywood power play, Ryan allegedly made a very interesting phone call to TJ Miller, one that turned the situation upside down. Miller later came out and recanted his statements.
He would never come back to a Deadpool film. Now he says he would love to. It would be awesome.
Suddenly, everything was sunshine and rainbows again. It was almost as if the tension and discomfort he had described just evaporated into thin air. How did this happen? Well, the word on the street is that Ryan did what Ryan does best. He convinced TJ to walk back his allegations. And by convinced, you can probably guess what I mean. You don't just suddenly take back statements like that without some serious persuasion, right?
You are a hypocrite, and you keep getting exposed and allowing us to expose you for this person that, look, we all are flawed. We are human. I don't have an issue with some of these problems if you just owned it.
The public didn't exactly buy it. You could almost hear the collective no, as people wondered if this reconciliation was as genuine as it seemed. Was this a true act of friendship and understanding, or was this all just a slick PR move to protect Ryan's golden boy image? Let's talk about the backlash. This isn't just a couple of people upset on Twitter. We're talking legal battles, social media firestorms, and a growing chorus of people who are finally starting to question the nice guy facade. Reynolds might have once been able to charm his way out of anything, but now the tides are turning, and people are starting to see through the act. It's not like his "I'm a nice Canadian" routine can save him this time when the cracks are so big, you could drive a truck through them. It's one thing to mess up, it's another to keep dodging the consequences. And now the public opinion is split. Is Ryan a hero, a villain, or just some average guy caught in the middle of his own PR nightmare? One day, he's the lovable Deadpool cracking jokes. The next, he's caught in multiple scandals and fans are scratching their heads wondering which version of Ryan they're supposed to root for. 1 minute, he's that guy we all adore, and the next, he's the guy we all wish would just take a moment to shut up and take some responsibility. If Ryan wants any shot at salvaging his image, it's time for some real accountability. A heartfelt apology, maybe some transparency about his past actions. Because at this point, the "I was just joking" routine isn't cutting it. But who are we kidding? We all know that unless there's a major shift in his PR strategy, this meltdown might just be the beginning of the end for Ryan Reynolds' reign as Hollywood's favorite nice guy. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to know more about Ryan Reynolds' personality.